All right, so we're going to get into scheduling for this week, and we have a lot of good information. Now, we are recording this for you live for Wednesday if you want to watch it, the scheduling information and go over all this stuff. So if you have questions you're watching it live, we'll take those at the end. But we'll get into, we're going to talk about scheduling for this week, as well as what's the plan for Ford for this month, September, and what each of the models are scheduling for. And we have some information on order bank closing dates and such like that. So let's get into the terminologies and everything. And I have not remembered yet to do a separate recording of this. So here we go. All right. So the order banks, that is where the orders are placed, both stock and retail orders. Now, a retail order is a customer placed order. So if you want a special custom order, you go to your dealership and they would place those orders in the order bank. Stock orders are also placed in there too. These are be for what you'd see in your stock or lot inventory. So let's say a dealer has allocations but no retail orders. They need to put stock orders in so that they can fulfill their allocations with those orders. Priority code, that's a priority given to each of the orders. 03 to 19 are retail orders, and then 20 to 80 for stock. The lower the better, which is why retail orders are always looked at before a stock order is for scheduling. All right, when we talk about scheduling, Ford schedules orders for future dates, usually 2 months out from the dates they schedule on. They'll always usually schedule on Thursdays for those dates, and they'll schedule them to the week first. And as you get closer, then they'll get them scheduled to the day, which is what it says for under production dates. Allocations. Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. A dealer needs an allocation to schedule an order in the order bank, retail or stock. A dealer earns those allocations from their sales of each model within their region. So they won't always have the same amount of allocations for every model. It will be different. It depends on how well they sell each of those models. Constraints, those are options that might be in short supply or take longer to build. We'll talk about constraints probably this week. Capacity, that's the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, or option. And then job 1 and 2, Ford will split the production into 2 different jobs. Job 1 is always the start of the model year production, and that's usually lasts. Sometimes there's no definite date, but usually most situations it's usually about 6 months. And any job 2 changes. Let's say they want to introduce a new package or a new or something like that. They'll make those changes for a job 2 run, which they're doing for Maverick. So a lot in Bronco Sport as well. And then balance out, that's the end of production or the balance out. We'll talk about all those terminologies a lot today. So there you go. There's that. All right. So let's get into this. Let's first start talking about the 24 model year Mustang. There's currently 595 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the 24 model year. And that might include 25 in there. So I don't know for sure. The order banks are closed for 24, but the order banks are open up for 25 model year. So if you missed out on that, put in a 25 model year order. It does say in here there's special commitment this week for the last balance out for the 24 model year. So this is the last week they're going to schedule for any date. So if you don't get scheduled, then they're done. They're going to schedule out the rest of their 24 model years this week. And then next week, it says no schedule for 25 model year until 9/19. So they'll have a little time before they start schedule for the 25 model year. So you got a little time to put those orders in. Now, for September, after this week, 25 model year will be a startup scheduling. So they're going to schedule for 3 weeks for November build dates, which is when the start of production is for the 25 model year. Little note in here, Dark Horse, no handling package or appearance with the black roof is going to happen this month. And then also 60th anniversary, no wholesale this month. It does say color drop production only. I think that's that special color that you had to win to get it, that Brittany blue. I think that's what that means. But anyway, so there's information on the Mustang. Next is the 25 model year Escape. Currently 128 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for all versions, including the plug-in hybrid. And they are scheduling this week for production dates 11/4 through 11/25. Retail scheduling only. That means those customers placed orders, no stock ordering. So they are going to do this month, just as an overview, they are going to schedule for 4 weeks for November build dates, as you can see from what they're doing even for this week. Next up is the 25 model year Bronco Sport. So 24 is done. It's in the past. It is gone. So if you had a 24 model year Bronco Sport and it's still sitting in there, didn't get scheduled, it's done. It won't get scheduled. They're moving on to 25 model year. They're not scheduling this week, though. Oh, by the way, order banks are open up for 25 model year, not for 24, of course. And so you can place those orders. They are having some issues with ordering a Sasquatch package on the Outer Banks and the Badlands, which is supposed to be available. It's supposed to be a late availability job 2 production, but you're supposed to still be able to order it right now, but they're having issues with Webdo and it not working. So if dealers tell you that, hey, I can't order this, they're not lying. Okay, that's it. They are having issues. In fact, the brand manager was at this week. I talked to him, and he was having us test it for him as well, and we're not able to do that. So they no schedule this week because of that with some issues there. It does say update Sasquatch Outer Banks package will be available Q1 of 25, as well as the Sasquatch Badlands package. So those are job 2. They're going to run a lot like they are for the Maverick. So those should be available for scheduling in November, I believe, for those January build dates, or it says Q1 in here. It says we will be taking retail orders for Sasquatch package, but they will not schedule until job 2. So right now, that's they actually are saying February of 2025. So anyway, they're going to run about that time. It does say in here for dealers to remember, if they are going to put in an Outer Banks, it does require the tech package at the launch for job 1. Also, it does say in here, Big Ben Black Diamond is available for retail, and that'll launch 11/25, which is the second week of production. No, the third week of production. 3 weeks in. So we are going to be able to order the Black Diamond off-road package right now. And then, of course, November scheduling, they start production 11/11 at the plant. And so this month will be all about 25 model year startup. All right. Moving on, 24 model year Bronco. Currently 589 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 24 model year right now for just a little while. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. You cannot order a Heritage Edition 4-door or a Heritage Limited Edition 2 or 4-door. But Heritage Edition 2-door is open. Everglades is closed. All the other trim levels are open. This week, they're doing specialty scheduling only. So that'd be your Raptors and Heritage Limiteds for dealers that have a Heritage Limited allocation. Also could be Heritage Edition if you have one of those. And then they are scheduled for the weeks in November 4th through the weeks of November 25th. So that gives you they are going to schedule this month for 4 weeks of production in November build date. So they're going to schedule 24 model years will be built through into December. We'll get into the dates when we get to the special section about order banks and everything in just a little bit. Scheduling Raptor and Heritage this week. So there you go. All right. Next up is a 24 model year Mach-E. There's currently only 50 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the Mach-E. They are scheduling, the order banks are open up for 24 model year right now. They're going to be for November or for September, the month of September, they're going to be scheduling for November build dates. In fact, this week they're going to be scheduling for the weeks of 11/4 through the weeks of 11/25. Retail scheduling only this week, and then they'll get into stock if a dealer doesn't have any retail orders. All right, next up is a 25 model year Explorer. Currently 356 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the Explorer for all trim levels. So for this month, they will be scheduling for November build dates. And they did say improved supply on the ST line street package. So that was an issue last month. They said it's better this month. They are scheduling this week. Retail scheduling only for those November build dates, the weeks of November 4th through the weeks of November 18th for this week. They'll schedule later in November after that. Limited availability for the Platinum version, as well as the 20-inch carbonized gray painted aluminum wheel. Exhausted availability for the active trim, as well as the sparkle silver painted aluminum wheel, which is the one that's on the active. So 20-inch machine aluminum wheel with the painted pockets that's standard on the ST line and ST is also limited, as well as the 21 by 9 aluminum painted wheel and the 21-inch dark alloy polished aluminum wheel and the black painted roof. So there you go. It's the Explorer. All right, next is the 24 model year Expedition. The currently 300 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are currently open right now. We'll talk about order bank closings in just a little bit. For the month of September in general, that will be 24 model year balance out. So they're going to be scheduling for 5 weeks for November and December. Part of December dates there's the 5 weeks can tell it's going to go into the balance out. The last week they're going to make an Expedition is the week of 12/9. So that will be the last for 24 model year. 25 model year won't start until January. We'll get into more of that. I don't want to give too much away, but they are not scheduling this week though for the Expedition. So all right, next up is a 25 model year Maverick. Currently 5,923 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. That is a small number. I think there's some people that are not ordering because they think it's going to take a long time like it has in the last 2 model years. Not anymore, folks. You can go ahead and place those orders. With only 6,000 retail orders in the order bank, they can schedule all those in like a week. Just depends on the configurations. So this order banks are open up in case you didn't catch that for retail as well as stock ordering. This month, they are going to be scheduling for 3 months of production for November build dates. This is the startup for 25 model year. They start building the 25 November 11th. So they're going to schedule for 3 weeks. This week, they're not scheduling. They're still kind of getting everything ready. They want to make sure they have orders in there. So this is your time to place those orders. You have this week to place those orders so you can get scheduled right away for those November build dates. It does say in here, update Lobo version will be available Q1. So basically what they're saying is you're not going to be scheduling Lobo right now. Those are going to be scheduled later. Also, don't forget, if you want that trailer hitch assist and backup assist, that will not be on any job ones. So if you're wanting those features on your Lariat or trimmers, you need to wait to place your order because that's going to be a job 2 that's going to be available for production in Q1 as well. So there you go. There's that. Next up, 24 model year Ranger. Currently 568 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up right now for stock only. Retail order banks are closed. They closed at the end of last month. And then for this month, they are planning to do 4 months of production for November build dates. So they are not closing yet for production. This week they're scheduling Raptor only, and then they'll start scheduling the others. They are scheduling for those dates in November, the weeks of November 4th to the weeks of November 25th. Next up is the 24 model year Super Duty. Currently 11,163 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. Still a lot of orders out there. The order banks are open up for the 24 model year still. And we'll talk about order banks opening up for 25 model year here in a little bit in the special section at the end. And this month they are going to be scheduling for 24 model year actually they're going to schedule for a lot of weeks. So let me go through this. They're going to be scheduling for balance out of 24 model year this month. So the month of September, they're going to schedule for the end of production for 24 model year. So they're going to schedule for at Kentucky Truck Plant for 4 weeks for November, I think November and part of December's mainly, I guess November. But Ohio is going to schedule for 9 weeks of production. So November, December, and a little bit in January. So Kentucky Truck Plant will balance out 12/1. The last day they build a 24 model year will be December 1st at the Kentucky Truck Plant. At Ohio Truck Plant, the last day they're going to build a truck is January 20th of 25. So that's mainly their commercial line and such over there at Ohio. So there you go. For this week, though, they are scheduling Kentucky Truck Plant for the weeks of 10/7 through 10/28. And scheduling for the weeks at Ohio for 10/21 through 10/28. So they'll do multiple weeks of scheduling throughout this month coming up. So there you go. All right. They're still wanting requiring dealers to put in 6.8 liter orders for XL without the heavy duty standard alternator. We have plenty of those, so we'll bypass on that and say no, thank you. F250 and F350 XLT and Lariats with a 7.3 liter pickup without the fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. They're also saying required orders for dealers. No, thank you. And then F350 dualies and F450s and 550 chassis cabs with the diesel engine and 7.3 chassis engines and without the exhausted Dana axles. So that's a new one there. That I haven't seen that recently. All right, limited availability for these options. It's the 17-inch forged polished aluminum wheel that's standard on the King Ranch Lariat and Platinum F350s. That's optional on XL and XLT F350s. Also, the 17-inch forged polished aluminum wheel that's in a package on the F350 gas heavy-duty payload package. And then the wheel ornaments that are included in the two-wheel drive, rear drive, two-wheel drive, and it says rear drive, single rear wheel with the bright hub cap. That's been an issue, but that's the only one. They've actually had about 3 or 4 of those listed before. And then also limited availability for the 193-inch wheelbase that is optional on XLT or XL and XLT chassis cabs. And then the heavy-duty alternator that's standard on the XL gas. So there's a lot of items not on here, which is good to see right now. So, all right. That's Super Duty. Next up, 24 model year F-150. There's the order banks are open up for the 25 model year, and there's 1,040 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for the 25 model year. So not a lot. And this month coming up will be the startup of production for 25 model year. And they are going to schedule for 3 weeks for Detroit truck plant for November build dates, and no regular cab and no super cab. It says they are not scheduling for Kansas City assembly plant yet. And then also for this month coming up, Raptor breakdown 801A 60% and 802A 40%. That is different than it has been. So those Raptor 37 people, 40% now instead of 30%. So that's a lot better rate of what they're going to make for those. No scheduling this week. They are finishing out and they're trying to set up and get ready for 25 model years. So no scheduling. Don't forget, heads-up display is restricted and standard on most high series. So if you want to get an FX4, Lariat, or Platinum, go with your 401A, 501A, or the 701A. Or for 25 model year, you get a new 500A on the Lariat if you want. Other things it says in here, okay, that's for dealers. All right. That's it for that. Next up is a 24 model year Transit. Currently 3,624 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are still open up for the 24 model year. They are scheduling for the kind of as an overview for 4 weeks for November build dates for the 24 model year or for the Transits for the month of September for November build dates. This week, though, they are scheduling for the week of 11/4 and it says required orders. Low roof versions, cargo vans, have the best chance of scheduling, but there is some opportunity for low roof passenger vans also, it says. Transit orders with the trail package will not be selected for scheduling. And then limited availability for the high roof long van as well. So there you go. There's that. All right. But special little details here on order banks. So kind of want to clarify some things for different order banks for the 24 model year order bank closing. So for the Transit, we don't really know when the order banks are going to close. So we're going to talk about EVs first. Mustang Mach-E is closing. Order banks closing for the 24 model year, October 23rd. It says in here, and these are tentative dates. So just so you know that, I've actually got in trouble because I put dates out there and they weren't solid dates. But there you go. And then the F-150 Lightning, which you really can't order one, but for production, for everybody to know, that is looks like it's already been closed up, but for 24 model year. But on the Bronco, the order banks for the 24 model year are going to be open until the end of October. So October 30th is when they're cutting off the 24 model year order banks. So there you go. There's that. Bronco Sport order banks already been closed for 24 model year. Escape has already been closed as well. Expedition is closing September 18th, it says, and that is a very tentative date. They put a little squiggly line in front of that one, if you know what that means. Anyway, so that's very up in the air at this point, but it's sometime in the middle of September. Order bank should be closing for the 24 model year Expedition. Of course, Explorer, that's been closed, and we've been moving on to 25 for a while now. And let's see, what are some new ones? F-150, you know, the order banks are closed for 24, as well as Maverick and Mustang and Ranger. Those are all closed for 24 model year. And on the Super Duty, the order banks are closing. It says 10/9. So you have about another month. Order banks will be open for both the Kentucky truck plant and Ohio for about another month now. And then the Transit, the gas version, order bank is going to close 10/30 as well for that one. So there's some of the 24 model year. Now for the 25 model year for the electric vehicles, so the Transit and the Mach-E order banks are supposed to open up the middle of October. So it says October 15th in here for those. Now the order banks are open up for the F-150 Lightning, but you can't order one. That's a whole different ball game there. You have to get one through a dealer, or you can go to build to buy on Ford's website. But on the Transit, job 1 is January 21st of 25 for the 25 model year. For the Mustang Mach-E, it's January 6th of 25. So the order banks will open up, and then of course they got to schedule in advance. You know, guys, followed me, you know how that all works. Now on the Bronco, the order banks are supposed to open up the middle of October for the 25 model year. It does give a date of October 15th or so. Again, that's probably tentative, with job 1 starting January 2nd. So I've been told that basically all 25s will be made in 25 model year or calendar year here. So that's how that's going to work there. Bronco Sport, we know the order banks are open up right now for the 24. They're going to start scheduling those this week. Actually, it's next week. They said they're not going to be scheduling. So that happens. Job 1 being 11/11. Escape order banks are open up now already, and they're already scheduling for those. Job 1 will start September 18th, which is coming up. Expedition order banks are supposed to open up 10/24. So that's coming up, has a little while away yet. So that's one of the first ones where it's going to close and not be able to order one for about a month. That's not typical. Usually they'll overlap a little bit to allow you to. Now, stock ordering will probably be available for that month for dealers that need to get those in. Looks like production is going to start job 1 for Expedition January 6th of 25. And then Explorer is going right now for 25 model year. They're building, they're delivering everything else. F-150, both at Detroit, looks like they're going to start job order banks are open up now. They're going to start scheduling. It doesn't have a date in here. I don't have a date on there, but it is going to start scheduling those, I think, next week or maybe even this week. For those, November 12th is when Dearborn is going to start building. Kansas City won't start producing until 12/9, December 9th. Maverick, of course, we know order banks are open up for the Maverick. They're going to start scheduling for those real soon, not this week, probably next week, for those November 11th production date. Job 1 starts. And then Mustang, they're going to start scheduling job 1 November 19th. So that's next week, or a little bit after that. I guess the week after that. So a couple weeks. Oh, that is next week. Okay, that's next week. They're going to start scheduling for 25 model year for production to start 11/4, so November 4th. And then on the Ranger, order bank's supposed to open up 10/15 as well, same day as Bronco, made at the same plant, and also production start the same date, 1/2 of 25 as well. And then for the Super Duty, order banks are supposed to open up 9/16, it says in here, for both Kentucky and Ohio. And Ohio or Kentucky will start job 1 12/2 for 25 model year, with Ohio starting January 21st, the day after they close the 24 model year. So, and then I don't have any information on Transit in here yet. So for that, so there you go. There's some information on that. So again, there's some overlap for 24 model year to 25 on the Super Duty as well. So, and now again, these are tentative dates. According to this, that should be next week. So we should be getting some information on this here real soon for the Super Duty. So, all right. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. So if you're watching this live, we'll take those questions now. If you are watching the recorded version on Wednesday, then drop those down below, and I'll try to respond to those as best I can and as quick as I can. So let's go on over.